Alright.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of apes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello and welcome to the Capes and Lunatics, episode 17. Technical difficulties. I am Phil. We're down a few people today. One with sick kids, another one in the eye of a hurricane. So today it's just, like I said, me, Phil, and of course the professor himself.
The ampersand! Charlie. The professor. Who eats the clock?
Yep. So today, what are we going to discuss? Batman, the animated series, turned 25 years old this week, Charlie.
Yay, you can rent a car.
And a bunch of, what the heck is going on with my wireless speaker, or what? That's great. Although it wouldn't be Capes and Lunatics if everything went 100% right?
Yeah.
But so I was hoping everyone was going to be here for this one, but yeah, Batman the animated series turned 25. Does that make you feel old, people?
If
you watched the first older run.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I watched the original run of the Super Friends. So yeah, my old was already there.
Yes. All right, old man. Before we jump into that, I wanted to read the email we got from our old friend Stockton Piner.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, he started off listening to us, I believe, and then branched out into everything else. But so yeah, he listened to me and Charlie first.
We are the gateway drug.
But he says, "Hello, Capes and Lunatics. It's your old pal Stockton writing in to recommend an outstanding series from Image Comics, Extremity, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson with colors by Mike Spicer. It tells the story of a post-apocalyptic society torn between two warring factions, the Roto, who scavenge futuristic tech from the remains of a broken world, versus the Paznina, who want to start over from scratch. The main story is a tale of revenge centering around a teenage girl named Thea, her father Jerome, the leader of the Roto, and her brother Rollo. Thea was a phenomenal artist until one day the Paznina attacked her village, murdered her mother, and cut off her hand. That's a bad day. Now in its place, she has an armed cannon that she uses as a soldier in her father's war for revenge. Jerome is ruthless in his pursuit of vengeance, and the demands he places on his children are absolutely brutal. Daniel Warren Johnson is a visionary creator, and I cannot speak highly enough about both his art and writing. The story he is telling is fantastic, and the world he created is visually stunning. Extremity is a perfect example of why I love creator-owned comics. Be warned, it is definitely not for younger readers or anyone squeamish about blood and gore. I believe this is a 12-issue limited series with the first six available now and Volume 1 coming soon in trade. I give Extremity by Daniel Warren Johnson my highest recommendation, and I hope you guys check it out. Take care, Stockton. P.S. If that Invincible trade is still available, I'm interested. That is a series I've been wanting to check out for some time." Well, Stockton, it's not just because you're the only response, but also because you're a longtime fan. You always support us. But yeah, I can't remember if I sent you stuff in the past, but I don't have your address. Email me your address again, and that Invincible trade is definitely yours. But thank you for again
being our truest fan.
Yes,
or one of our true fans. Because we do can't forget good old Justin out there and the whole crew.
Yeah, but he's the new guy. Stockton's been here for a while.
I know, but you gotta make new friends and keep the old. One is silver, the other gold. Who's silver and gold? We're not going to talk about right now.
We have room for thousands and millions of fans, so don't be shy.
I'm sure that I can still have more room on my Facebook friends wall for additional people before, because I hear that from people all the time. It's like, oh, my Facebook has limited how many friends I can have. It's like, really?
And hey, you're talking to Charlie Esser, a man who has 2 Facebook walls. So
Yes. Well, I still don't have that many friends on any of them, but that's okay. I have people. Oh, don't cry for me, Argentina. I do gotta say, it sounds like a great series, but the arm cannon really throws me because I just think, wouldn't it be easier just to like give her an arm and a cannon, like have her carry a cannon and use the arm to shoot the cannon, rather than just attaching the cannon to the arm.
Yeah, but
I
it's a
guess it'd be,
post-apocalyptic world. Maybe they can't find the tech for all that. Maybe they just found a cannon, so it's like, oh,
they just stuck it to her arm, sort of jury-rigged it, sort of like Ash with his chainsaw hand,
maybe
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Chainsaw
nothing.
hands.
Nothing says post-apocalyptic world like instead replacing a hand with a weapon.
Yeah, so there you go. Aquaman did it, so with his big anchor, like arm side hook. Yeah,
Harpoon.
it was a harpoon. Was that what it was supposed to be? Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
think I don't know. I forget if he had attachments, but I know one. I think he was able to like shoot it off, and a big line came out.
Ah. Oh, cool. So that's nice. Yeah. Although as we've discussed, those grappling hook swingings, they don't work as well as you think they do.
Yeah.
So good. So Aquaman has a harpoon. Or does he still have a harpoon, or does he have a hand back again?
Oh no, that's been all New 52'd and rebirthed. Yeah, I know he has two hands now.
He has two hands. Oh, good. Good. He has two hands in the movies, so Yeah. See, maybe they'll misty-night him. Maybe at the end of it, he gets his hand chopped off.
Should we get to the news, or should we get should we do the Batman stuff first?
Oh, well, what news do you have?
I'm trying to think of anything we didn't mention last night on super connectivity, which we'll probably hear later in the week if you're listening to the podcast.
It's okay.
I don't know. I mean, unless we discuss more comics, but
I haven't read my comic books yet.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into Batman. So, 25 years ago. Okay. 25. Okay. Now you're mad at me. It's.
No. I'm just. I told you before. It makes me feel old. I think. Oh God, I think I was in junior high, middle school when that came out, and now I'm gonna be 40 next year. Put that in perspective, people.
All of 40. I remember when I was 40. It actually wasn't that long ago. I'm only like 43. Yeah. 43,
oh God! So. After 40, you can't remember how old you are.
I know. Please, I haven't known how old I was since I was 16. No. So it was a very cool series when it came out, and it's a the art style is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that it did have such a interesting style motif in the idea that it's like, one of the things when they did the Batman in '89, I'm trying to remember the director on that, Tim Burton. Tim Burton said that in the set design for Gotham, the idea was, what if, Art Deco design just continued on and there was no real regulation to stop it? And that's why, like the bridges are all sculptures of people holding things up. And, everything is just this really crazed look to it. And what I like that kind of a bold choice of design. And I like that when we get to the Bruce Timm Batman animated series, he has this, it's not quite as over the top as Burton's Batman, but it does have this idea, like, what if we took those classic art elements of that early 30s Batman, that 30s, 40s Batman, and what if we just transplanted that into the modern world? Mm-hmm. So it's like, every desk has a computer, but every car is from, 1938, and, mm-hmm. They still have rotary dial phones and all that stuff. And I love that as a stylistic choice, because Batman is such a stylistic character. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things that I think is really great about that Batman style is how it does inform the whole of the city of Gotham. To where Batman doesn't look out of place in Gotham. And I love that when he does go to Metropolis, he does look out of place. And you do see how Superman looks like Metropolis when we got over to the Superman series, which was, of course, a spinoff of the same universe. Yeah, so stylistically, I mean, Batman the Animated Series really informed Batman in such a stark way that I think, informs the way I think Batman has done to this day. I think that when you look at something like Gotham as well, it has this idea that we have to be out of time, that Batman works best as a character who is trapped in a stylistic universe. That Batman doesn't just exist in the regular universe. Batman has to be in a Batman universe.
Well, did they do that to make? Did they do that to make the stories timeless too? Because I mean, when the series first was brand new, it's like, oh, some of this technology is outdated. So it's like 25 years later, yeah, the technology is still outdated, but it was when these things first aired live for the first time.
Well, yeah. Well, technology is always outdated. Yeah, I remember the old Super Friends computers with their reel-to-reel tapes. I love that scene in Winter Soldier where Arnim Zoller was like, "And I am on 900 miles of digital tape." It's like, really?
Well, that's like even the '66 Batman. Even as a kid, I was watching reruns. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, this was from like '66. So like, I'm like, is that red phone wireless somehow, or did like some like?
No. Actually, the wire goes all the way to the Gotham, because there is actually. I'm going to tell you this. There is an episode where Commissioner Gordon is being held hostage, and what they do is they say, "We want you to trace the call to the Batcave."
No.
And that's all. And that because they could because they were going to trace the call, and that's how they're going to learn Batman's secret identity. And I forget how Batman worked it out. I think he like rerouted it somewhere, so he put up like a second dummy bat phone.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's Batman. Even Adam West was Batman. Always prepares. Always thinks 6 steps ahead. That's why he wore that special thermal bee long underwear that one time.
But I remember as a kid, I was just like, wait a minute. I'm like, what out of it phone technician like installed that and didn't know it was.
Alfred did it, man. Everyone knows Alfred does everything. He put on his little blue
cable. Yeah.
Yes. Just a Citizen Lane cable. Don't mind me. Anyway, but yeah, it's 25 years old. It is the defining iteration of Batman, I think, at the moment. I really do.
Oh yeah, I mean, even from our last week's episode, I mean, it still like defines Batman in an animated form still to this day.
Yes, although maybe after this last one, they may need to redefine it. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but it is neat that well, and not for nothing. Yeah, like we've said, it defines the animated form. When we even get to the Killing Joke, we're once again aping this universe, even though we're doing it in a darker and more twisted way. It's still. That is who Batman is, and it's the advantage of the cartoon genre is that it doesn't matter how old Kevin Conroy gets, he can still play Batman.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking the other day. As long as that voice holds up, I mean, he could be Batman until the day he dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was when they did the reboot of Batman in the '80s, and Adam West got kind of frustrated that they didn't even ask him, Because he was like, well, why don't they just do the Dark Knight and I can be old Batman, But they didn't do that until years later. And see, now they're doing old Batman with Batfleck, and Batman just ruins everything. But yeah, or not Batman, Batfleck just ruins everything. Ben Affleck. But we're actually talking about. So, of course, I think one of the biggest things to come out of the Batman animated series is Harley Quinn, who...
Oh, yeah.
became such an icon into the DC universe. And it's kind of amazing when you look at that character, how she goes from a literal randomized hench clown.
Well, I was reading the story the other day. I knew some of it, but I guess they were saying, like the first episode she was in, they were planning on Joker, I don't know, whatever, I'm trying to remember what he was doing, but him just like dressing as a woman, and they're like, no, he wouldn't do that, so they just brought in, like, they created this henchwoman for him that was only going to be like one episode.
Yeah, I don't even think she talks in the first episode.
Or if she does, it's really limited. Yeah, I mean, and then I guess she became popular, and so they added her in, and they started making a comic book origin for her, and then...
Well, yeah. Well, they actually did I believe the Harley Quinzel story actually gets told first in the in the animated series. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's amazing how they created this entire backstory that has then grown and expanded to what we get in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing about this animated series. It's like influenced the comics, where Harley Quinn eventually showed up, and look how popular she is now.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, his origin before the animated series, he was just some mad scientist who like froze himself, but then they added in the the tragic backstory with the wife and everything, and
which was so wonderfully portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin. You know what? But they kept it to that. But that tells you how important that was. That they took this character that was, and I love when you can do that. When you can take someone who's just kind of a B character and really tell a story and make you care about that person's story all of a sudden. It's kind of funny, if you go back and watch some of the Mr. Freeze episodes, they do a great thing where they really rip on Disney, which is that even before Disney bought Marvel. The episode where they go to the guy with the frozen head, who's the the Disney pastiche, yes, in the Undersea Kingdom. That was great. They tackled some great stories and great ideas, and and then they continued it on into Batman Beyond, which was the second, which was that future version of it all, that again also just went on to influence the comics even more, to where I think now Batman Beyond has his own comics that's continuity, and I think it's even at least to some level meant to be an official future line of the DC universe, which is pretty awesome. That this little series, this little Batman reboot, wound up becoming so influential, not just in the world of animation, not just in, I grew up on that cartoon, but just to really say this became the defining moment of the Bativerse going forward. It's impressive. It's impressive. And that it has lasted for 25 years. That 25 years later, Harley Quinn is the biggest draw. People actually care who Mr. Freeze is. Mm-hmm. Mark Hamill is the Joker. And always will be from now on. Although, it came out recently that Tim Curry was supposed to be the Joker. And man, that is just one of those things that makes you go, what might have been? I don't know if it would have been better. I don't know if it would have been worse, but it would have been its own thing. And it's wow. And it does show you how important the casting that they got in this series was. Conroy's Batman is Batman. And also his Bruce Wayne, that was the thing about it, is he could really change between Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Oh, yeah.
You could hear that it's a different, it's the same guy doing the same voice, but it's a different voice and different timbre. And,
He does the two separate voices without going all Bale, I'm Batman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Bale. You just get the feeling that, I don't think any of the movie. Well, okay. I thought that Batman '89 understood Batman. I thought Tim Burton really understood Batman. I actually, yeah, I think Adam West kind of understood Batman as well, but in its own camp style.
Yeah, that was kind of the style, I think, even in the comics at that
Yeah,
point, because
exactly.
they were
That's what the
trying not to
comics
be
were at
that
the
dark.
time. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I really, I'm not a big fan of Nolan's Batman. I'll be honest with you. I've never really been. I mean, it's good. It's a decent film. I don't know if it's as Batman as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
I think that it's, and what I think part of Nolan's Batman is actually I do think that maybe one of the problems you have with it is that it is not as stylized. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
that stylized universe that I think Batman needs. It's like,
because
yeah,
they just they use real world backdrops, Chicago, and
yeah.
I mean they even
And
filmed it here in Pittsburgh, part of it.
I think you can do that nicely with a Marvel movie because Marvel's characters are supposed to be kind of in that real world setting. I think you can do
Well,
that with Superman. But I think Batman needs to have that dark and gritty universe. I think he needs to have a world that doesn't look like. He needs to be in a world that doesn't look like it's outside your window.
well, I mean, Marvel, definitely works for Marvel because they're in real world cities like New York,
Yeah.
and everything else. Batman's Gotham, Superman, I don't know, because it's another fictional city, Metropolis, but
Yeah, but when you think about Metropolis, all you think about is glass skyscrapers.
true.
It's not like, I mean, and again, when you look back at the Timiverse's Metropolis, that was a metropolis.
Hmm.
And to have that be right across the river from Gotham is just, it is. I don't know what goes on the other side of the river, but man, between Bloodhaven and Gotham, those are some pretty rundown parts of town, so close to Metropolis. It's like River Rouge.
No.
River Rouge is a city just outside of Detroit, and the start of downriver, as we say. And what is interesting about it is that it is as depressed as people know Detroit is. River Rouge is like a drop off from that, and it's sort of this idea that everything, because those immediate suburbs often when you're at the city they wind up being kind of the lower rent district and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I'm sure there's a lot of commuters go from Gotham through the monorail to get to. I wonder if the Gotham monorail connects to the Metropolis monorail. They have to get a paint job by the time it gets to Metropolis, though.
Oh, but I found this on YouTube. Speaking of Nolan's movies and Kevin Conroy and everything, did you hear this speech where Kevin Conroy does the Christian Bale's final speech from The Dark Knight, where he's telling Gordon, "You can't be Dent. It has to be me. You have to hunt me," and all this.
No, I have not heard that, but it sounds like he probably did it way better.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Conroy did it in his Batman voice, and it came out a lot better. Because I think I can pull this up. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
I think this it's off YouTube, but it's saying "Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson," so I'm guessing that's where it's from. I think it might have been from a convention or something.
Yeah.
All of Harvey's prosecutions, everything he fought for, undone. Whatever chance you gave us of fixing our cities dies with Harvey's reputation. We bet it all on him. The Joker took the best of us and tore him down. People will lose hope.
They won't. They must never know what he did.
5 dead. 2 of them cops. You can't sweep that up.
But the Joker cannot win. Gotham needs its true hero.
No.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things because I'm not a hero. Not like Dent. I killed those people. That's what I can be.
No, you can't. You're not.
I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be. Call it in.
They'll hunt you.
You'll hunt me. You'll condemn me. Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen. Because sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded.
Isn't that the coolest thing? I know, right?
Yep.
Yep. Look at that, and you know,
Oh my God, that is awesome. I mean,
That is
that's
awesome.
what
Yeah.
that's why Kevin Conroy has voiced. I mean, well, they say he's portrayed Batman more than any other actor in history. I think because I mean he's done all that animated stuff. I mean, Batman the animated series. He was old Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond.
I know.
He was
Yes.
Batman in those Justice Leagues. I think he even did those. I know he did some of them. I think he might have did all those Arkham video games and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah. They should have gotten him instead of that Ben Affleck guy.
dub the
I've seen Kevin
voiceover.
Conroy. He's not a bad looking man. He could do a Batman. You know, send him to the
Mhm.
gym for a bit, and you know he's old enough that he could have been that older Batman too. You know.
Oh, just dub the
Okay.
voiceover.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine that if they had actually cast Kevin Conroy as Bruce Wayne and Batman in Batman v Superman?
That would have broken the internet.
That would have broken the internet, and it would have been happily broken. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a great series. I mean that there's not much more to say about it beyond that. It was a great series with it was a perfect encapsulation of what a Batman story needs to be. It was honest with the comic books, did its own thing where it needed to, and presented something that was unique both visually and artistically and story-wise, It didn't cop to being either overly dark and gritty or being too Pollyanna-ish. It was something where they were willing to say, hey, these tragic backstories are tragic.
Mm-hmm.
But they also said, oh, but this is a superhero story because it is about the rise beyond our tragic backstories.
Is there any
And again,
is there any episodes that stand out to you?
Yeah.
Like you were like, oh, I love that one.
Well, yeah, you know what my favorite episode is when Harley goes straight. I love when she gets and she's just trying to get by, and I think that's when they first have her hook up with Pamela too.
Oh yeah.
Her and what's her name? Poison Ivy. And and again, that's a thing where they did it there, and then it immediately grows into the comics. That the ideas that are there become so popular, become so good. And that's the thing you got to say is that the stories were so good that the guys in the comic book said, "Oh, we're just going to do that. That's better than whatever we have."
That's a Paul Dini, man, who works on They worked on the animated series. I think a lot of those ideas were his. I think the Mr. Freeze origin, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Dini. That's who I was thinking. Yes. So Bruce Timm was the producer, and Paul Dini was the writer. Is that how it works? Yeah, I know they were a team. They did some great stuff together.
I don't know if they were producers. I think Bruce Timm was like head at like animation. I think he worked on the actual look of it and stuff. Yeah.
There we go. So that's where I'm thinking of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Paul Dini. But anyway, they did fantastic stuff together. And I think that it's lightning in a bottle. It's like except that they still have that bottle and they can still put lightning in it. Although then again, maybe Tara Strong was the glue that held it all together. Because she got her and things started to fall apart there. But she's over on Teen Titans Go, which is now a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes to show you, man, things are weird.
That's the casting. We were talking about live action. They should have cast Tara Strong as Harley Quinn in like Suicide Squad or something.
Yeah, well, again, no argument.
Hmm?
I mean, Tara Strong is such an amazing voice actress, and credits galore. I mean, we are really in a golden age of animation for being an animated actor, and it sucks that they still get paid nothing to be the most influential actors in our current universe, and yet nothing for it,
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're on The Simpsons and you actually form a coalition, those voice actors, Although, I guess in some cases nowadays you also have the producers being also the voice actors, so they at least get that given to them. But everybody else, I don't know if anyone's making their money on it,
Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of them do like 20 different voices or something, so hopefully they're getting paid.
Well,
just
yeah, I'm
in
sure they're getting paid.
quantity.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's you'd hate to you'd like to think that these guys do the conventions because they want to do the conventions, not because they have to do the conventions. And I mean, I'm sure with like folks like Tara Strong and Kevin Conroy, it is because they want to do it, because they want to get out and have that adventure. But you go to those artist sallies, man, and you just know that's their 9 to 5.
I'm trying to remember if it's connected or not, but I know well, Mark Hamill became the Joker in 1992's Batman animated series, but in 1990 he actually was in did you ever watch the John Wesley Ship Flash series on CBS that ran for like one season?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it was on for one season, but yes, I saw a few of the episodes.
Did you see Mark Hamill as the Trickster?
I didn't see him in that. I actually never saw that episode. Or did I see that episode? And I've only seen I only saw 1 or 2 episodes of it. Because that's DC, man. That was a Marvel kid back then. Oh, you can't make me watch a DC show. I'm gonna go rewatch Red Brown's Captain America.
But I mean, he redoes it in the newest Flash series. But I
know.
I think in that John Wesley Ship, like I said, it was only one season. But I think Mark Hamill did 2 episodes. He would think he was the only villain reoccur. He was so good.
Yeah, well, he's a great actor. I mean, not for nothing. The guy was iconic in Star Wars for a reason. And that's the thing. You often think about Star Wars is not the best written movie ever made. Most people who are honest will admit that. But it did have some phenomenal casting. I do think Mark Hamill, I think sometimes gets thought of as like the Ringo of Star Wars. Where people don't, well, Ringo and most of the other Beatles will tell you. You'll see fake quotes when the people rip on Ringo, which were actually old. What's his name? Who I don't know. That comedian, Bill Maher. Bill Maher actually said, Ringo wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles, and actually John Lennon never said that. John Lennon. Most of the other Beatles, in fact, as far as I know, all of the other Beatles all said that Ringo was just a phenomenal drummer. Because Ringo was actually a working drummer, professional Git drummer. Ringo was actually a Git for the Beatles. People don't know that. But he's a drummer. So, you don't do the flashy stuff. You don't get to be the star as the drummer. But Ringo was a fantastic drummer. And Mark Hamill is a fantastic actor. But, his character kind of gets overshadowed by everybody else because it's about Leia and Han. We all know that the story arc of Star Wars, it's not about this crazy Skywalker family. It's about Leia and Han and their star-crossed lovers, And, and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher really, really brought such a life to that with their interaction that, made it a great story.
All the difficulties they had to surmount for their love. The Empire. She kissed her brother. All that.
Yeah. It was one time that she's like, and really, he kind of is being kind of. It's even creepy, even if he's not her brother, because hey, give me a kiss for luck. It's let's just swing. Jerk, okay? It's don't try to sexually manipulate me just because we're in danger. That's kind of creepy, dude.
I know.
It's but I'm a farm boy, and you're the first human woman I've met. You're
not a droid.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I mean, you saw Tatooine. It's all freaking. Why walrus people are on a desert planet, I don't know. The lizard people, you got that. You got lizard people, you got walrus people, you got Jawas, It's the amount of humans on Tatooine is clearly very scant. And so as a young man growing up on this farm with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, it's a little rough. And, he meets a freaking space princess who doesn't wear underwear because George Lucas decided that people don't wear underwear in space. True story, look it up. It's. I wonder if Carrie Fisher has been allowed to wear a bra since then in the later films, or not. George Lucas, you perverted old man. Anyway, moving right along. So Batman. So, but isn't it amazing how far you can go from Batman, just because it is such a series? No.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it just proves you can like drop Batman into any situation because they took a bunch of classic Batman tales from the comic books and they kind of adapted those for some episodes, but then. Although this might have been in the comics somewhere, but you get episodes where like Batman fights a werewolf and Batman fights androids.
Yeah, well,
like,
you know what? In the goodness knows how many years of Batman's history, I'm sure he's fought at least one werewolf.
Oh yeah.
If nothing else, on the Super Friends, they fought Dracula and they all got turned into vampires. So I can't remember. Although Batman might have been the one guy who didn't get turned into a vampire. But I remember Superman got turned into a vampire briefly, and so did Wonder Woman. So, did you remember that episode of the Super Friends where they had to fight Dracula and they got turned into vampires? And...
I don't know.
It seems like that's the kind of thing that Batman would have saved the day on.
But like, I mean, how does a vampire change Superman? Because I mean, the minute you bite Superman, aren't you dead? Because every cell of his is full of solar radiation.
Yeah, this was the Super Friends. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? But if you're Dracula, your cells are full of darkness. So bam, right on you.
Yeah, but
like
sunlight.
Dark Force energy.
Yeah, but sunlight hurts them. So.
Well, actually, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, sunlight actually is not the anathema to vampires as people now think of it. In Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's actually like, no, vampires go out in the daytime all the time. They don't like to because they're nocturnal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they can go out in the sun. It's not going to hurt them. So, that's that.
Or they sparkle. Oh, God. Twilight.
Yeah. Don't. One of my favorite memes I've seen so far recently is, what will you do with immortality? And they have the Highlander, fight for, and Doctor Who, I will save the universe, and they have Twilight guy, I will hang out in high school and try to pick up on girls. He is basically, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey's character from Dazed and Confused. But immortal, I love high school girls, no matter how old I get, they stay the same age. That's creepy enough when you're 30. It gets even creepier when you're 230. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
Although no one's age appropriate when you're 230.
Other immortals, maybe?
Yeah, well,
or at least someone who's a freaking adult,
True.
At least someone who has been around the block and it isn't like, oh, I like vampire romance novels, and so I will now be in one. Anyway, that's enough hating on Twilight. It gets enough hate,
Oh, but I wanted to ask you, did you ever see the Batman the Animated Series movie Mask of the Phantasm?
No, actually I never did.
If you get a chance, if it's on any of those digital services or anything, watch that. That is one of the best Batman movies, period.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
even though they give away the secret at the end with the toy.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's Lilith, that's Tyler. I mean, we're all in love with that movie. That is.
Okay.
I wish they would. I wish the advertising, I guess, wasn't there when they did like a limited theatrical release when it first came out. What was it, 93? And by the time I found out about it, I was like, it wasn't there. I was like, what? So yeah, the first time I saw it was on maybe VHS. But yeah, I would have loved to see that in the theater. Someone re-released that in the theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. The only Batman animated movie I've ever seen, aside from the one we just watched, was the Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. I really like that one. And was that Tim Drake or was that Jason? That was Tim Drake.
Drake, because they never went Jason Todd in the animated series because I guess they never explained that to kids.
Tim Drake winds up looking older than Bruce Wayne in that. Because he looks like he looks like Uncle Ben at the end of that, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, after everything the Joker
Even
put him
Barbara Gordon
through,
doesn't
and
look that old.
everything the Joker put him through, plus I mean, let's face it, Bruce Wayne puts his sidekicks through a grinder, you know.
Yeah, well, you know. Yeah, that was another great thing. I love that film, and I just love, you know, I'm trying to remember what the kid's name is who is Batman.
No,
Not the actor, the character.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis, yeah. I love when he's like taunting the Joker, and he says, "Oh, I realized you think I'm Batman, or like, you know, but I'm not going to react the way that he was."
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I know what your problem is. Batman never laughed at your jokes.
Yes, exactly. I love that, and it was a great movie, you know. And I'll tell you, there you go, just a random one, and it was great. And that's how great all of the Batman connected universe is. They're great. Present company accepted, you know. Man, now they really got to make another one in this, because that can't be the final taste in your mouth for the Batman the Animated Series. They really need something. Yeah, you know. After Gotham by Gaslight, they got to think of something else to put up. They got to go back in there and like I said, you know, had they just been willing to make a story about Harley and Pam, and, you know, and have that be their love story, you know, that would have been so much better.
I mean,
You know?
it should, like I said last week, you should have been like, oh, this is just an extended animated series episode. They should have. I mean, don't do it still beat for beat, but I mean, take that original episode, you know, like you were talking about when they first teamed up, and just build off of that, and forget this PG-13 crap. I mean, DC now, they think every animated thing they put out has to be PG-13. It doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't worry about PG-13. To me, PG-13 is always kind of a randomized number, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, look how much everyone loved Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League. I mean, you don't have to be PG-13 every time.
Well, and it's not like everything in those series were all nice. They all, you know, and not for nothing, I don't necessarily know. Well, I guess, you know, I mean, they do fart jokes all the time in Teen Titans Go. So I certainly don't think that's what got them the PG-13. You know?
No, I think most of the time the PG-13 on these movies is like language. I think they get the show like blood, you know, like extra violence, like blood,
they did the blood. They put in their blood when we know which. Okay, you know, it's like, yeah, it's unnecessary, and it seems forced in these situations.
Yeah, and like any of these sexual situations, it just seems to freak everyone out. From like the Killing Joke, the you know, Batman and Harley. It seems to blow up in their faces every time.
Yeah, well, you know, but like I said, like what we saw with Nightwing and Harley in this, I think you could have seen that in the animated series just fine. You know, you might not have gotten the Wortham references quite so much, but when he comes back and they're having a tickle fight, yeah, and that's straight out of the animated series. That you open the door and they're having a tickle fight. You know, that's just in full uniform. You know, that makes sense in that universe. So I don't know what to say. But yeah, so that's that.
Oh my god! But did you ever see the Batman the Animated Series episode? Almost Got Him. Joker, Penguin, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, and Killer Croc.
And Killer Croc is.
Yeah.
I hit him with a rock.
It was a big rock. Yes.
Actually, you know what? That also reminds me of my other favorite. One of my other favorite ones, which is the one that was just Harvey Bullock's story.
Oh yeah.
And his landlord's trying to kill him. I love that. You know, I always go back and forth on Harvey. Just because I always thought he should have been a better cop than he was. Mm-hmm. I think he gets that nice redemption in Gotham now, where you really see this backstory with him and Gordon. And if nothing else, you get this explanation as to why Gordon keeps an incompetent cop like Bullock around. It's like, well, he was my first partner. You know? But yeah, I love that episode because I just love to see Bullock actually doing stuff and accomplishing things, you know, and not being just the butt of Batman's jokes. You know?
I think that was actually one they took from the comics. There was an issue, I think, not too long before that episode where they actually did that story. Yeah, I think it was Detective Comics or something. But yeah, they actually did that in the.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And you know, and Bullock's another one of these characters who I think came into his own because of the animated series. You know.
Oh yeah, that's what
when you first. Because I think Bullock was first introduced in the '89 Batman. I don't know if he was in the comics before.
No, he was in the comics. Was it 70s or 80s? And then I think they shifted him to something else that wasn't Batman. But then, yeah, because that. Well, I mean, I think Bullock was the template for that '89 Batman character, but his name wasn't Bullock though.
In '89 Batman?
No, it was like Eckhart or something. I watched it not too long ago. It was like Eckhart or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's my mistake on that. But was he just a random corrupt cop, or did he have the depth that Bullock now gets today?
I'm trying to remember. I think in some of the early stuff, they kind of tried to play him as like a corrupt cop who played both sides, but then I think some public official tried to get him to like betray Gordon, and he kind of played along so they could like bust this guy, and you know that's when he like proved his loyalty to Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, he's an interesting character.
But I mean, I think
did Montoya appear in the comics before here, or did Montoya start in the animated series?
No, she's like Harley Quinn. I think she started in this animated series, and then they put her into the comics later on.
Yeah, and they're again another great character that has grown to be so much. You know, she's the question now, right?
Yeah.
Or did they new shift her out?
I think she's the question. Yeah, it always changes with these New 52s and stuff, but I think so.
And she's dating that woman still, or did they break up?
I believe they broke up, but yeah, they were dating at one point.
But they're both costume supervillains, vigilantes now. They can make those crazy kids, or do they like not know each other's secret identity?
No, I believe they know. Like I said, unless they retcon that again, but yeah, they knew.
Maybe they were just two different people when it got down to it. You know, a love of costumes and punching villains can only go so far. You know, you got to have something deeper, like, you know, a love of Thai food.
But yeah, I mean, the animated series, like we said, introduced so many characters into the comics, and I think they brought a lot to the forefront that people who weren't reading comics didn't know about. Like, I think the animated series made Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, however you say it, you know, brought him to the public eye.
Yeah, I had no idea who Clayface was until the animated series.
Man-Bat?
Man-Bat. Well, Man-Bat, you just always assumed had to exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Know? Let's be clear. You have a comic book called Batman. Eventually, someone's going to say, but what if there was a Man-Bat?
Your DC Comics Kirk Connors.
Yes. You know. Scientists love to inject themselves with stuff. You know. You really gotta ask, like, other than these things, like, wouldn't it have been smarter to, like, you know, cut off a monkey's arm and try and grow it back first, then get lizard monkey? I mean, maybe you say, I don't want to cut a monkey's arm off. It's like, yeah, but you know, or maybe you just give them the regenerative formula without their arm cutting off, and then seeing if that gives them a better healing factor, and then see if a removed limb does grow back, rather than saying, I no longer have a limb, let me grow it back right now. You know. Yeah, man.
And like you were talking about Killer Croc before. Did you know Killer Croc before the animated series?
No, I don't think anyone did. I mean, he existed, but actually that was an interesting thing. And again, about how this series changes these characters. I believe in Killer Croc, much like Tombstone, which is supposed to be a mobster with a skin condition. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be all superpowered, you know. But, you know, once you introduce a character like that, you start saying, well, maybe it's more than just a skin condition. Maybe he actually has crocodile stuff, and maybe he can breathe underwater and be super strong. Let's just make him an ugly submariner. You know? Yeah, you know, but that's cool too. But, you know, and again, Killer Croc's one of these characters who got this greater depth, who got into this idea of, you know, growing up a freak and just be accepted and loved, and how the darkness that people projected onto him sort of twisted him into his own dark place. Which again, we get influenced again when we get to the recent Suicide Squad, where that becomes central to his character. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, but
There's a lot going on there.
You gave me an idea because we've been talking about doing another one of those Marvel versus DC debates. Oh my god, I just want to throw you and Lilith in the pit and say Aquaman versus Namor, go.
Oh well,
save it.
Okay. I'm not going to say Aquaman doesn't have advantages over Namor. Aquaman has lots of advantages over Namor, not the least of which is Namor's very lax grip upon reality. You gotta remember, this guy was a hobo for like 20 years before the Human Torch found him. You know,
Imperious Rex.
Imperious Rex, yes. Okay, yeah, that's a weird Latin phrase. I know what a lot of Latin phrases mean. I still do not know what Imperious Rex means. I know Rex is king. I have no idea what Imperious means.
Not like Royal King or something, or maybe it's just something Stan Lee made up.
It sounds like something Stan Lee made up, honestly. Yeah, you probably wanted to say Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, that doesn't make any sense. Imperious Rex, that's good, you know.
But yeah, the animated series, the animated series, a big win. I mean, and has, you know, one of the big things to happen to Batman in his history.
Yeah, it really was. And honestly, there is an argument to be made that when did Batman and Robin come out?
The movie, 97.
97. Okay. But this came out in what?
The animated
98?
series? What?
Yeah, the animated series. When did it come out?
It began in 92.
92. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it came out around. It came out around the same time as that second Michael Keaton. It was Batman Returns.
Okay. So that's good. So I was going to say it kind of saved it, but obviously nothing can save you after Batman.
I think Batman Beyond might have saved. I think Batman Beyond came out after that, so maybe Batman Beyond saved it.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So that is our 25 years of Batman.
Yes.
The animated series. Yeah.
Anything else we need to discuss? It was Defenders Week at the comic shop this week. Well.
Oh goodness.
Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil.
Yes. Well, like I said, I'm just waiting for Ragnarok for the Hulk and Valkyrie and Doctor Strange to say, "We are your defenders now."
Well, you were telling me. I thought we were talking about this. What was it, last week or the week before? You were saying you weren't sure if we were getting Bruce Banner in Ragnarok. We do. I saw in the new trailer. We get Banner.
He is in it a little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much though.
I wonder.
You know, that's the thing. Well, you know, here's what it is the Hulk costs money, and it is a real question as to how much will be the Hulk, how much will be Banner. But, you know, I think at a certain point, no one's paying to see Banner.
Yeah, but you think it's in his contract, maybe, you know, like if I'm showing up, you're showing my face every so often.
Maybe. I mean, it could be, but you know, it's actually him doing the physical acting for the Hulk too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, you know, it's like Gollum, you know. You know what it is? He probably shows up in it because if you only do the motion capture, you can't get recognized for an Oscar. Not that he's going to get recognized for the Oscar for this, although who knows? Maybe it's just that good. But I know that paring back the Hulk in all the other movies mostly has to do with just how expensive the Hulk is. But when you're getting into this Ragnarok story, I can see them being happy just having it be the Hulk almost all the time.
Well, I think
obviously.
It looks like we're at least getting that scene. I wonder how long he's been hulked out. And I mean, it seems like an extended period of time because it seems like Thor has to explain everything to him because he's like, "Oh, we fought," and Banner's like, "Who won?" Thor's like, "I won," and he's like, "No, that doesn't sound right."
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we do see him in there, but that could also be, that could just be late in the story. Or it could be like a brief bit where he is there, and then.
I just wonder if I wonder if Banner helps him plan, how to take on Hela and stuff, and then when you need muscle, he hulks out. But
yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know what they'll do, but I'm excited for it. They are saying that Ragnarok is more anticipated for what it's worth than Justice League.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even Wonder Woman can't save Justice League. That's the problem. It makes you wonder if their decision to go back to the 80s with Wonder Woman for her sequel has something to do with maybe we should just avoid the boys altogether. Let's just set this before the boys started doing their thing. Maybe like she'll have some mention. Well, like I said, I'm hoping we get Thomas Wayne. That'll be great.
Maybe the 1-2 punch of Wonder Woman and Aquaman will save Justice League.
Maybe. Well, we'll have to see if they know each other. Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking because you could actually theoretically have. Is Aquaman immortal? Or am I just thinking of Namor again? Because you could have Aquaman in the past in the 80s, but yeah.
Lilith is the Aquaman expert. I think he ages, but I'm not
but
sure.
It's also when was he born? Like he may not be old enough. So he may exist in the future as a superhuman, but may not be. It's like Superman is immortal, but he wasn't around then because we know that he came to Earth sometime in the 90s, I guess.
And then you throw in the whole, like Namor, Aquaman's like half, surface dweller. So
yeah, well, yeah, but Namor has been around since the 40s, and we know that he hasn't aged that much. So, yeah. So yeah, Wonder Woman. I'm very much looking forward to Wonder Woman 2. I can't wait to see what they do in the 80s. And like I said, it gives you a great time to introduce, Martha. Really find out what. I would love to see her interacting with the Waynes, who are big charitable people and wealthy business people, and that seems like the kind of person that Diana might be working a charity with, And maybe let's see, when would Ben Affleck have been born? Well, Ben Affleck was probably born sometime in the 80s, right? He's not that old.
Well, how old are they portraying him in this movie? Oh.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get little Bruce Wayne. Like it could be that we get little Bruce. I mean, I hope not. But it's not good. But I would love to see the Graysons in it.
Yes.
I'd love to. There's all sorts of back characters that they could have her interact with, but they may want to just stick with her own universe. In which case, maybe we're going to get Chitara. Well, not Chitara.
What?
That's
what?
Right. Her villain, Cheetah. Is it Chitara or Cheetah? I think it's just Cheetah.
Cheetah. Yeah. No, Chitara, I think, from Thundercats. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. The Visionaries are coming back.
Oh, yeah, I thought I heard about that.
Yes, Visionaries vs. Transformers is going to be a new comic coming out. I am getting that.
Ooh.
I'm going to pick up at least the first issue, man. I am so excited because I loved the Visionaries. This was part of that Marvel Sunbow deal back in Sunbow Hasbro Marvel deal, where basically Marvel wrote all the characters, which is why they were good. You wonder why these things stick in your mind? It's because these were Marvel characters and Marvel stories. But Hasbro owned the rights, so now they get to go to IDW, and hopefully they won't screw it up, but we'll see what happens. But the thing about the Visionaries is they're like from this technological world that suffers this crazy, because it's like in a trinary star system, and the 3 stars align, which creates this massive electromagnetic shot that basically destroys all machinery.
Hmm.
And like, but one of each of the visionary, actually, was the dark. I forget what they called them, because there was the light, the knights and the other ones, and I forget what they were called. Because it's been like 30 years since I've watched this, and what happens is one of the one of the visionaries who doesn't get a like totem, they found out that their powers, they can like reawaken technology and can control technology. So you put those guys on Cybertron. You have these magic users versus these super cybernetic organisms. That sounds like a great story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm very excited
yeah.
about the return of the Visionaries. The Visionary, I mean, I used to, because that came out in the 90s. That was like 92 or 89 maybe. And because I remember, man, I was reciting the spells, you know. By nature's hand, by craft, by art, what once was whole, now fly apart. The arrows turn, the swords rebel, let nothing pierce this mortal shell.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never
Wake my mind, my will be wrought.
I never got into Visionaries, but
Yeah, that's okay. I was too old for them, and I loved them dearly. I loved all those. Man, I tell you, for like one season adventure cartoons, that was a golden age. You know, between that and the Silver Hawks, partly metal, partly real. I love that stuff, man. Silverhawks are supposed to be coming back too, so I'm excited about that too. I don't know exactly what version they're coming back in, but I have heard rumblings of the return of the Silverhawks. So, yes.
I would tell you to write up a blog, but I don't want to distract you from Rick and Morty.
Oh God, I got to finish that damn blog post. And it's like I haven't gotten it back to it. And it's like, you know, and what happens is they keep on putting out more episodes. Like, oh, that fits into my theory. Oh, and that's why that. And I was like, oh, I gotta just focus on what I was originally focusing on, because everything is distracting me. I go see other theories.
It's gonna be like the rest of the year for our blog. It's gonna be like Charlie Esser's Rick and Morty blog, part 17.
Yeah. Well, no, then I got other things I gotta write about, man, because there's other universes I want to explore, and you know, and I still want to. You know, I still say that the character coming back, the big shocking reveal is going to be Franklin Bale for Marvel. That's the character that's going to come back. That's the iconic character that's going to come back because he is an iconic character.
I was thinking about this. You don't think they're going to bring back like one of the X-Men, like, I don't know, Professor X or the original Wolverine or Jean Grey? Old Jean Grey, because how many times they pulled that trick.
Well, that's the thing about it is when you bring, it's like why it won't be Bruce Banner. And it's not to say that Bruce Banner isn't going to come back. It's not to say that Professor Xavier isn't going to come back. It's that it's not going to be shocking for them to come back right now. It's not going to be shocking because it's exactly what you expected. The only thing that would be shocking. So there are two characters that would be shocking. One is Captain Marvel, but they can't bring back Captain Marvel for numerous reasons, not the least of which is that the most defining aspect of Captain Marvel is that he's dead. And if you bring him back, you kind of ruin what actually made that character at all an iconic touchstone. You know, you're not going to Winter Soldier Marvel. You know, you're not going to come back and you're not going to bring him back and then have it be a better story with Captain Marvel. You're just going to bring him back, and everyone's going to be like, okay, you know. So we just couldn't let a woman, couldn't let a woman be Captain Marvel, could we?
No, I don't think they're doing that, especially with that movie coming out. Yeah, they're not.
Exactly. So I think the only other character, because it has to be a character that you never thought would return, and whose return wouldn't be bad or wouldn't be worse than leaving him dead. And
yeah, but
the only one that you have is the Beyonder.
Yeah, but would the Beyonder really be shocking? Because he's all powerful, would people be like, oh, you know, would they be surprised that he's back? I mean, they might be surprised, but
here's why.
Just be like, he's so powerful, of course he's back.
But what's going to make it interesting is that they're going to tie so much of it together with the incursions in the last universe, and they're going to explore something new. So what's going to make it interesting is it's like when they brought Bucky back. What made the return of Bucky interesting was that they actually told a better story with Bucky, you know. Just having Bucky come back, it's not interesting. We have Bucky come back, oh, and he's the Winter Soldier, and now he's going to be Cap, and now we're going to actually explore all these dynamics of being Bucky. And we're going to redefine who Bucky was as a character, so that now he wasn't just a teen sidekick. He was actually, you know, a grown kid. And it's like, you know, you could... Here's what I'll say. The only reason to bring Captain Marvel back is because you're actually bringing Rick Jones back. You know, I mean, that's an option. But I don't, like I said, I don't think that makes sense. I don't think bringing Captain Marvel back, you know, bringing Rick Jones back would be great. But again, it's one of these things where, you know, he hasn't been dead long enough to make his coming back be that shocking. You know? And with Bruce Banner, he's been back twice already in recent weeks. And, you know, a third time isn't going to be the charm. So, and with Wolverine, we already have two other Wolverines out there, you know. No one is going to break their necks worrying about a Wolverine. So you have to think, what would be really shocking? And it has to be something that you're not going to expect. And the Beyonder, not the Beyonders. And what makes it interesting is you're going to explain how the Beyonder, they're probably going to use my brilliant idea that the Beyonder was actually the Prime Beyonder that split into a billion other Beyonders once it came into the multiplicable universe. And that's a great story, I know, because I wrote it. Hopefully someone writing this will be as good of a writer as me, at least, and hopefully better. I'm not about to hide my brilliance.
But yeah, I think isn't the return set for that Marvel Legacy book? So I was just wondering if it had something to do with those original BC Avengers. That's why I was like, oh, could it be Jean Grey? Because Phoenix is in there. I don't know.
I mean, well, or maybe we're gonna find out that the villain that the BC Avengers fight is the Beyonder.
Ooh.
You know, maybe there's more to the story. You know. And maybe we're going to see, like... So imagine this, if you will. The Molecule Man is up to something. We know this because he put the Maker in every universe. So even though he is working with Franklin and Reed, he's also working his own agenda. The own agenda he seemed to be working on with the Maker was returning the universe to a singularity. Why would the Molecule Man want to return the universe to a singularity? Because the Molecule Man isn't even really the Molecule Man. The Molecule Man has always been the Beyond.
There you go.
And what the shocking return is, which makes for an interesting question: who was the Molecule Man's true love? Was it Volcana or was it Dazzler? If the Molecule Man is the Beyonder, who was his true love? Wouldn't that be an interesting conflict there? You get the Beyonder, and you get Dazzler, and then it's like it's Volcana who says, "No, that's not Frank. That's Owen." He says, "Owen, I love you, baby. Don't destroy the universe." You know, but you know, well, it's that inherent conflict. Well, you know, and there's this idea that the Beyonders weren't sentient until they came in contact with Owen Reed. You could have any number of concepts. You know, the Beyonder could go back to 1 million BC because that's where, you know, this universe is. And, you know, the time stream is so crazy right now because, you know, when Franklin recreated these universes, he didn't recreate them at zero. He recreated them from a point in space.
Well, that works into my theory.
They have a path.
That works into my theory. What if the Beyonder is from 1 million BC or whatever year it is? And like I was saying the other week, what if originally the Marvel Universe wasn't supposed to have superpowers, and all of a sudden the Beyonder does something, and all of a sudden he's basically the origin of all superpowers in this universe?
It could work, man. It could work. I mean, I'm really fascinated to see what they do with it. I'm looking forward to Beyonders 1 million BC. and it certainly will be interesting, you know. And so let's see. So let's think for a minute. And the Beyonders, 1,000,000 BC. You have the Black Phoenix, you have Borson, and you have the Iron Fist. Odin Borson, because he can't be an Odinson because he's Bor's kid. And theoretically, you know, everyone said, well, how can these characters be? You know, Wakanda wasn't even founded in 1,000,000 BC, and Kunlun isn't that old. But, oh, and Agamotto's in it too.
Mm-hmm.
The first Sorcerer Supreme. What if what we're really looking at here is these extra-dimensional beings who have come to Earth to see what this Beyonder is doing? You know, or maybe they came to deal with the Celestial problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember the Celestials were coming to Earth at this time, and that's when they start creating the Eternals and whatnot. You know,
because didn't they say about I thought they said something about this, you know, the building the history of the Marvel universe. So yeah, I mean, you get that original Black Panther god or whatever, and that leads you into the founding of Wakanda. You get, you know, the Iron Fist, and leads you into the founding of Kunlun. Yeah.
Or Kunlun. Yeah. Never heard it pronounced Kunlun until the movie. It's like, really? Kunlun? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like when I first found out that Crusher Krell's name is really Crusher Creel. Although that's actually how it's spelled, so why I didn't know that for years, I don't know. But I always just pronounced it like Krell, you know. But it's clearly 2 E's, 1 L, not 1 E, 2 L's. So.
I still want to say Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, yeah. Yeah, so I still say continuity, or continuity. Yeah, continuity. You used to always call it continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Although now other people are using the word. I've heard other people use the word continuity too, as opposed to continuity. So, go figure. We all pronounce things wrong all the time. That's just the truth of it.
Well, yeah, especially back in the day, I was like reading comics by myself. I didn't have you wonderful people to talk to, and I was just, you know, you pronounce it however you want in your head.
Yeah. Although, you know, what's weird is that we had like the 60s cartoons to reference. They just never mentioned Mjolnir in that? Or Mjolnir?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Because I think everyone pronounced it Mjolnir because it's spelled with a J. That's how you pronounce a J, is a J. Lazy Scandinavians and they're turning Y's into Yays. And Yogi Jorgensen. Okay. Anyway. So.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, man. I'm just waiting for the Beyonder to come back.
That's right. I guess I'll do the announcements like I did last night. Next week, 4 p.m. Eastern, Friday, I will be interviewing Kelly Thompson, writer of the current Hawkeye book. And if you follow us on social media, you'll see, send in your questions for your chance to win a copy of Hawkeye #1. Send us the best question gets the issue. And we'll probably do our Capes and Lunatics episode. We haven't talked yet, but probably next Saturday morning around the same time. And then Saturday at 12 noon, Charlie Esser, who are we talking to for the 150th episode of Super Connectivity?
The best writer in Marvel Comics or in comic books today, David F. Walker.
Yes. And I might grab something today. Send in your questions for David Walker because there might be a chance to win something of his also. So, and if you want, like I said, if you want to watch live, Kelly Thompson, 4 p.m. Friday, the 15th. David Walker, 12 noon, September 16th. So, and prepare for October. Southgate Media Group is having they're having 2 marathons. One live in at the Blue Box Cafe in Elgin, Illinois, and 2, an online marathon right here on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube channel. So go subscribe to Capes and Lunatics YouTube. We'll be all over it. Some of our friends like Jesse Jackson, Kevin Long, and a few more that haven't been verified yet. So yeah, it'll be us and a few others. So all kinds of stuff. I think Jesse's talking music, so it'll be a nice little grab bag of stuff.
We're gonna make it work.
And Charlie Esser, where can people talk to you about Franklin from Bayonne?
Frank from Bayonne can always write to me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's the superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet the great new show Inhumans, according to Phil Parrish. So we'll see if he's correct or not. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look at the two E's in the middle for quality. And apparently, I guess Orville is out, so I might start watching that. I've heard
I think it starts this Sunday.
this Sunday. So I may live tweet Orville tomorrow.
Ooh.
We'll see. I may do it. Gotta see if my schedule allows, but yes.
Yeah, I'll see if I can do it also. But yeah, I believe it's tomorrow night at 8, I think.
Okay, because I'm fascinated by the concept. It looks neat. And I actually like Seth MacFarlane as an actor. I love that voice of his. And I hope he sings some show tunes.
And like we were talking last night,
Yeah.
that was it Adrian Pilecki, the one who played Mockingbird, is on it.
Oh,
Did you
yes.
see Did you see the part she's playing?
No.
I guess Seth MacFarlane's character is all excited because he's finally getting his own command. He's getting his own ship, and then I guess the powers that be they draft his ex-wife as his first officer.
Oh.
And she's the ex-wife.
Oh, so that, and then wackiness ensues. You know
Yes.
what? I'm really excited about it. It seems like it's going to be a fun show, and it's going to be looking at, I'm guessing, just off the top of my head, I'm guessing it's about that, you can put a man in space, but he's still a human being. And, and human beings are out there on the outskirts of the universe. And it's like every problem we have, it's just going to come with us. Even in a world without want, even in a world with replicators and transporters, we still have petty, vindictive, social issues.
They're gonna take every Star Trek cliche and beat it into the ground.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that, we've seen from the trailers that obviously they kill some backwoods redneck who's comes at them with a gun, because get you Federation revenuers off my land, I guess. Yeah, that's going to be something. But I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens.
All right, and like I said, if you live tweet, maybe I'll see if I can get to there or not. Like I said, I think it's at 8 o'clock. But
I'm going to try. I'm not. I can't promise anything yet.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. Me neither.
See if
but
I have to do laundry at that time or not.
Yeah, but I mean, the stuff I probably will be live tweeting. All the shows are coming back. Well, Gotham comes back end of September, and then on its new night Thursday, and then the CW shows I think come back in October. So I'll probably be live tweeting a lot of that. So follow me on Twitter at NightwingPDP if you want to do an interview with us. NightwingPDP@gmail.com. Oh, if you want to send us questions for our for Kelly Thompson or David F. Walker, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or the voicemail 614-382-2737.
614-38-CAPES.
That's right.
Paid extra for the letters, so you got to use them.
That's right. All right. So is that it?
That's all I got.
All right. That's it for this week. For the Capes and Lunatics, I'm sorry. I'm Phil. This has been the Capes
and
Lunatics.
Yay!
Say we had to have a producer somewhere, so
yeah.
Dan?
We got our new producer.
Dan?
Where you go, Luca?
She's like, no.
Yeah. Play us on out.
I don't know what we're gonna do. We have no producers.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, follow Capes and Lunatics on YouTube. Follow Toxin Gamer on YouTube. At your own risk.
Have you actually seen any of his videos?
No. Oh wait, I did try. I did look at one real quick. No. All right, I thought we were ending. Okay.
You're the one that has the live button, so.
I am vengeance. I am the night. Good night.